Welcome to Nonprofit Impact on MeetAdvisors.com. I'm Megan Dugan-Bassett, your host. On Nonprofit Impact, we talk about what works and what doesn't from leaders in philanthropy, public policy, business, and social services. Today we're joined by Brenda Palms-Barber, who I must start by saying has been one of my heroes for the last 14 years. So I'm really excited to have her here. Brenda is the executive director of the North Lawndale Employment Network. She's been the executive director since the organization was founded in 1999. And you've really grown the organization significantly and launched a really unique social enterprise, which we'll talk about a little bit later, that's really unique nationally. Brenda has also won a number of awards, including one of the first MacArthur Foundation Awards for Creative and Effective Organizations in 2006. And she also was a Roman Novich Fellow at the Harvard Business School's Perspectives in Nonprofit Management program. She's been one of my heroes for a while, as I mentioned. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Megan. Thank you.
You started the North Lawndale Employment Network a little over 15 years ago, and it now includes a social enterprise called Sweet Beginnings. Can you tell us briefly what's unique about North Lawndale?
Well, I think the most important thing is that it's an organization that was actually founded by community. So the Staines Family Foundation facilitated a conversation with community and said, what are the most pressing needs that you have? And so the creation of the North Lawndale Employment Network was all because the community residents said, we need to focus on employment, we need to make it a priority. And so thus, after about 18 months of planning, the organization was established.
That's wonderful. For those who aren't familiar with the North Lawndale community in Chicago, how would you describe it?
Well, it's a community that's located on the west side of Chicago. It's probably was well known for being the headquarters of the Sears and Roebuck Company. And then, of course, in 1968, as a result of the civil unrest and the assassination of Dr. King, North Lawndale was one of the communities that was deeply impacted, and really had a lot of difficulty economically because businesses started to leave the community. And it's honestly a community that's still trying to come back.
Yeah. But your organization has been an important part of that process.
Well, we hope so. We think so. I mean, our primary focus is to focus on employment and to make sure that the 57% of the adults in this community that have criminal backgrounds, that have served time, actually have a meaningful and viable way to reintegrate back into society through employment.
Right. Because most people don't realize that for people who really want to come back and be a meaningful member of society, a law-abiding member, once you've gone to prison, it can be very challenging because it can be very hard to get a job, and that's a really important part of your work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have Sweet Beginnings is an urban apiary. You teach work skills and a lot of things about running a business to the individuals who are part of that program. That's probably kind of a surprise to people that you'd be teaching people beekeeping. So what made you decide that this business was a good fit for the community?
Well, I wish it was that easy, right? I had no idea at the very beginning, but to be honest, there were a number of different business models that we looked at, and each of them had particular strengths, but also some real drawbacks. And I think that what was important was that we had to be able to differentiate ourselves in the market in a way that made people curious about us, and that we actually didn't want to create competitors in a way, we don't have a lot of money, but what we wanted to do was to really create jobs for people. So at the end of the day, we were looking for a sustainable business model too. So eventually we ended up with bees because someone mentioned the idea, and I thought, that's interesting. What about beekeeping? And pretty soon we thought it was a terrific way to teach people how to be calm, how to work as a team, how to produce something that is sweet and good, and then eventually it became more about running the business as a total. So it's been terrific.
Yeah.
It's been good.
So what are some of the business skills, and I know this wasn't on the script, so I'm surprising you a bit here, but what were some of the business skills that people are learning through this program?
Well, I think what's interesting is depending on the individual's background and really what caused them to make poor decisions that led to going to prison, we have found that a lot of folks are quite entrepreneurial to begin with, right? And so the type of basic skills that you're going to learn are how to manage an inventory and the importance of that inventory at the end of the month, the importance of customer service and follow through, how to sell the product, shipping and receiving, every aspect of any business are a big part of what they're learning. But what's also interesting to me is, you know, individuals who, for example, were involved with illegal drug trade are probably great employees because they already understand the importance of inventory, customer service. And so what we've been able to do is take individuals that really have work experience, although it was illegal, and help them transform it into legal skills that will make them competitive in the market as they turn their lives around.
Yeah, and something positive, turning it into something positive. Yeah. That's wonderful. So when you started Sweet Beginnings, what's something you've learned in running it that you wish someone would have told you when you first started it?
Oh my gosh. There's so many lessons, but probably the first is that everything will take longer than you ever think it will. It just takes longer. And if you think, and so that means you have to sort of hunker down and be ready to weather, you know, the ups and downs and twists and turns of the business. And also another lesson for me is really embrace people that have criticisms. There are naysayers. And so those are naysayers that can really provide some rich information for you about where there might be weaknesses in your business strategy. And so instead of getting your feelings hurt, which is what I spent a lot of time managing, was to say, wait a minute, you know, they're actually being really helpful. They don't maybe intend to be, but I need to listen to that and help shore up my model and help further codify the business strategy. So that's another lesson. There are so many, but also surround yourself with really smart people that you trust. And be willing to listen to them. Also, if you're, depending on what your product is, and I'll tell you, this is sort of funny that so many people were so excited about what Sweet Beginnings was, and even more excited about our products, because we couldn't simply keep the business limited to honey because the profit margins are quite rather low. So the question is, how do you expand those profit, you know, your profit margins? And so we decided to go with additional products, lip balms and body creams and lotions, etc. And so I remember people telling me, oh, I love your products, they're great, you know. And I thought, really? You know, are they really great? Tell me, give me feedback, give me some feedback. And your friends are so happy for you that they just, oh, it's great. And you kind of go,
like, are you sure?
So I think, so the key for me was your friends are going to love you and they're going to want to see you succeed and they want to encourage you. So it's really important to get independent, objective feedback about your business, whatever that product is. So when I stepped out to do some focus groups with people who had no idea what I was or what the program was or what the purpose was, I got some very straight and hard feedback. And as a result, we changed some things. One of them was just the scent of our products, and that there was an inconsistency. You know, that one thing smelled and tasted like this, and another smell. So we realized we had to come up with a signature scent, which we did. So it was important to do that.
So that's one of the ways that you've adapted your model. Are there other ways that you've adapted in response to feedback?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we have. One of the ways that we used to have a pump for our shower gel and lotions, and people found that they just weren't working. So we went with a flip top instead because the seal was a little tighter and people just thought that was more secure. So little things like that. You do have to listen to what people are telling you. Our customers are really the ones that drive it. Another adaptation was we had a really rich and thick body cream, you know, with shea butter and honey and silk protein, just a beautiful product. But there were lots of folks, not lots, but enough people that said, you know, I really like your body cream, but it's a little too heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can you come up with something lighter? And that's when we're like, well, yes, we can. You know,
really
so we came up with a lotion
Right.
that was, so it really, it's lighter, but it still has the same moisturizing effect.
Right.
And so now both, you know, we have folks that really like that heavy, like me.
Yeah.
I like that deep moisturizing body cream.
Yeah.
But for folks that want something less heavy,
Mm-hmm.
we've got that lotion. And that's, again, customers helping to drive the product.
Yeah. Are there changes that you've made to your business model or to the training that you provide for people that you think have been really important changes that you've made to the program?
Yes, thanks. You know, we've gone back and forth. One of the challenges, and I think that we've finally have settled on what the right strategy is, but at one point I wanted everybody to learn everything. So I wanted everyone to learn about inventory. I wanted everyone to learn about sales and shipping and receiving. And at the end of the day, it became more clear that you really have to hone in on where people's skill sets lie, and that it was best to have the person who's a little shy maybe, but really pays great attention to detail to be a part of dressing the product, right? That's putting labels on and hang tags and making sure that quality control is in place versus putting them at a market and asking them to do demos, right? And so that was something, because I wanted everybody to leave with everything, you know? But the reality is, let people hone in on what they do well and make it and take it to a whole nother level. And then they experience a more gratifying sense of pride and success.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise with us. I appreciate it.
What's so fast?
I know, they do. That's the web.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Join us for more inspiring interviews on meetadvisors.com.